Welcome back to the channel. It is moi, Fragrant King, and I have a review of two new fragrances that I purchased randomly because that's my life, randomly purchasing fragrances. But these were on sale with 30% off for Lancome's most recent sale. I don't know what it was for. I think it was like for 30 years of Lancome or something. I don't remember what it was, but child, I got 30% off and I was like, let me do this. And they did 30% off on their new release called La Vie Belle Vanille Nude. So like vanilla nude. So La Vie Belle, I only have two La Vie Belles. I have In Rose, popping it up, and I have Iris Absolute, popping that up too. I love them both. In Rose is a pretty raspberry fruity rose. Nothing too bold. Iris Absolute is a little deeper, a little more powdery, lipsticky, kind of gives that old makeup vibe, and it's really, really good. Lasts forever. But I think those two have been replaced as far as my favorite La Vie Belles with these two new ones that I got. One of which was Vanille Nude, and I picked up the El Elixir. The Elixir I had smelled before during like one of my travel spray hauls that I did. I didn't end up purchasing it because when I wore it on my skin, when I tested it at Ulta, I thought, okay, it's nice, but it was a little too much like Iris Absolute. So I did not go with it. However, tons of people review it. Tons of people love it. And I thought, you know what? If I could find that cheap enough, and I think I said that. If I found it cheap enough, I would buy a bottle of it. And I'm glad I did. But let's start with the new release. Vanille Nude by Lancome is a vanilla, musky, powdery, white floral, sweet, aldehydic scent. So I'm popping up those notes. And I love aldehydes, which are typically like solar fresh notes. And it's got jasmine and white musk along with that vanilla. Love jasmine, love musk. Everybody was saying in the comments that had tried it or blind bought it, it was a really musky vanilla. It was unique. It didn't remind them of anything else right off, but it had similarities. I will definitely say it is not a dupe to anything else, but it does remind me of other fragrances. So I got Vanille Nude, beautiful bottle. I love like pinky, I love me some pink. It's so cute, very cute. 10 out of 10 on the bottle and packaging. Scent is a solid 8 out of 10. So it is really clean and vanilla. I like a clean vanilla. It's like a musky vanilla. The issue with some clean vanillas is they lose the sweetness. This never loses its sweetness, which is one good thing. So I would definitely recommend this for people who like a soft gourmand. I like that it also kind of has a sugary vibe. Somebody said it reminds them of a Middle Eastern perfume. I could see that, possibly because of the musk, and it's got like a bourbon vanilla almost. The vanilla is kind of bourbony. It reminds me, I wouldn't say it's just like it, of a fragrance I don't have anymore, and that was Meow by Katy Perry. It's her pink cat bottle. I'll pop it up too. It also kind of gives me Gucci Gorgeous Gardenia, or no, Gorgeous Orchid, which I did have and I hated. And I mainly hated that because it was way too salty and too aquatic. I no longer like salty aquatic fragrances. I think after my second time, maybe even my third time of getting COVID, the most recent time I just got it, which was a couple months ago. Not even a couple, it was like a month ago. Shit, time flies though. But I used to love aquatic fragrances. I now have problems with it. I feel like after I had COVID this most recent time, I had reached for Gaultier's Divine, which is a very salty gourmand. No, it sucked. I was like, what is wrong with me? I can't wear this. One of my other Lancomes that I love, but from the Idol collection, is Aura. Idol Aura. No, I ended up giving it to my mother-in-law the other day because I couldn't wear it. I asked her if she liked it. She's like, I love this. I was like, you can have the bottle. I can't do it. So I was worried that this would be too solar and salty. It is not. It is more sweet. That's why I compare it to Meow by Katy Perry, because Meow is almost like lactonic sweet, almost too sweet. The old me liked it at first and then got sick of it and ended up giving it to a coworker. I could potentially revisit Meow, but for now I'm good and I really like this. I feel like this takes over for me. It's a solid, again, 8 out of 10. It's an easy wear. The opening is a little familiar to Iris Absolute, where it's that powdery, almost like makeup. I know people, us reviewers, talk about it. If you know, you know what an old lipstick or an old compact. For me, the memory that I tie to is Corn Silk's compacts. If you're a child of the 80s, like me, and a child of the 90s growing up even, your mama or your auntie or your sister used a compact that was usually tortoise-shelled, and it was from Corn Silk. Usually they bought it at like Kmart or Walmart or, Eckerd's or drugstores like CVS, etc. My mom, still to this day, she's 72, she wears Corn Silk, and it's got that like powdery makeup smell. So all of you that are going, yes, yes, that's what this looks. That's what this reminds me of. And so does Iris Absolute. So if you really like that powdery makeup scent, Iris Absolute is that the entire time. This is that in the opening and then goes more sweet, floral, fruity vanilla, which I like, but musky vanilla. So it's like a sweet, kind of floral, fruity, musky vanilla. I like that about it. And again, it's so pretty. It just smells clean, and I'm very, very pleased with it. So Vanille Nude, 8 out of 10. One of my favorite releases so far this summer and this year. I feel like it could be good year round too. I feel like this has staying power in hot and cold. It's hot here in West Virginia, and I've worn it and I've enjoyed it, and it lasts all day. I wore it Friday to work, and I got compliments, and I smelled damn good. So I'm a fan. I will say it may not be as strong in super cold weather because of some of the solar notes. Those do better in the winter, in the summer, but I think it'll still do well. So very happy with it. Now, what surprised me was how much the elixir, how much this is better than just the travel spray sample that I did. I am so glad I got this, and I will likely be getting a large bottle of this because I've worn this all weekend, and I've already put that much of a dent in it. I've had it for 4 days. I'm like, this is so good. I wore it to dinner, and I got so many compliments at dinner. So it's a fruity ozonic sweet rose. I'll pop up its notes. It's raspberry liqueur, Calabrian bergamot, violet leaf, rose, leather, cacao butter, and cedarwood. I get that leathery, chocolatey liquor with a lot of sweetness. I know a lot of people say they get the cacao butter. I get it a little bit in the dry down. It's kind of creamy when it fades off your skin, but majority of this is like a raspberry leather. The rose and the violet really give it its base, the heft. I don't really get any of the cedarwood, and I don't really get any of the bergamot. But that's okay, because I don't really love either of those notes. I don't really like cedarwood. But I typically have issues with leather and with suede unless it's mixed right, and this is. This, though, this is classy. This is a true elixir fragrance. It has some similarities to La Vie Belle, the original. I would say out of the other two that I have, like I said, Iris Absolute is a lot like Vanille Nude in some aspects. This is a little bit like In Rose. And then the original. I don't have the original LVEB, but I have smelled it enough and I appreciate it. But this, to me, is the key. This is the best one. I actually like this better than Vanille Nude, and I actually give this a 10 out of 10. This is just phenomenal. I like that it's also refillable. I don't know if this size is refillable, but either way, I would go for a bigger bottle. I like that this is also squared off. It's a little different where this has got that orbital bottom like all the other LVEB. I just like it. Love the bottle. But yeah, this one kind of smells like old makeup too, but more raspberry old makeup with like a little bit of like a liquor, leathery vibe. So very, very good for like dinners and going out to a party. But I also just wore it the other day shopping and going around the mall. It just smelled good and I enjoyed it. So 2 new releases-ish. This is the newest. This is newer. I believe this came out in 2025. Let's see. I feel like both of these came out this year. Nope, this came out in 2024. So it was probably like a tail end of 24. But there are 2 of their more recent releases, other than the Idol Power, which I've already reviewed for you all. However, these are way more wearable, way more enjoyable, and I'm very glad I got them. And I got them both for like $62. I think this one was $63, this was $62. For 1 fluid ounce bottles, that's not bad because they're over $80. So the 30% off sale was so worth it. Plus, they were doing this at Ulta for 30% off for the same size. So, but you couldn't get the new one at Ulta for that price. So I'm glad I got the new one. Hope y'all enjoyed my reviews of these two. I'm going to enjoy wearing them. And if you find them at a good price, pick them up. And if you've picked them up and you have opinions, let me know what you think of them. I feel a lot of people really like the Elixir, but Vanille Nude, I think it'll surprise a few people. It'll probably become some people's favorites, and I can see why. It's very, very nice. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you for your feedback on anything that you give me, and I look forward to what comes next. Bye.